Good evening and welcome to another edition of the East Idaho Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, where we break down the top stories from Districts 5 and 6 of East Idaho High School athletics. This show is brought to you by Ideal, a state-sponsored tax advantage savings plan that helps families pay for the cost of college. An Ideal 529 account can be used towards higher education, trade schools, apprenticeship, or even student loan repayments. For more information, go to idsavings.org. My name is Joel Richardson. Let's bring in my co-host. This is the flu game for Mr. Sean Kane. Sean's a little under the weather tonight, but he's still here because he wants to talk about all things best top stories East Idaho. Sean, how you holding up, man?
Oh, I'm pretty good. My voice will come and go sporadically through this, and it sounds really good. Probably sounds very dark and rich.
It's very musty, musky. I should say musky.
A lot of mahogany wood around me. But yeah, it was a long weekend. I don't wish this illness on anyone, but it seems to be going around. But all I can say is I got a great team around me that supports me, and from the school staff to my friends and family. So awesome. It's always good to remember all those people out there looking out for you.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, I'll try to carry as much as I can. As we talk about swimming, dude, we actually had state swimming one more sport before football ends. With swimming is the penultimate sport of state here in Idaho and of fall sports going to state tournament here in Idaho, specifically in East Idaho. So we're going to talk swimming first, then we'll hit the top stories from football, and then we'll get out of here so Sean Kane can get some rest and hopefully get back to those kids. But yeah, this one is swimming, really. A couple of themes, Sean. We talked about maybe just keep swimming, referencing your sickness and just to keep going. We also talk about treading water. Some of these teams are still, especially in football, are still treading water. So trying to capture the entire, gamut of tonight's show. But in the end, we're going to go with swimming because we still do have swimming to talk about. So let's do so. East Idaho last weekend went out to, I think it was Boise, and actually did a pretty good job. We've talked about how in East Idaho there aren't a lot of pools, especially when you have a bunch of teams who need pool time, who need swim time, and there just aren't a lot of options. So a lot of times it can be hard. And golfing tends to have the same issue, where there isn't a lot of time to get in the water and get reps, right? Same thing with golfing with swings and whatnot on the green, especially in those spring sports. So historically, East Idaho hasn't done great at state, but this year, man, East Idaho News had a great article called Kalama Hines put out some great stuff, great information about swimming from this past weekend. In the article, he says 81 medals came back to East Idaho, 16 to Idaho Falls. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Half or more of the podium was from East Idaho in 14 events. So East Idaho brought home the majority, the lion's share of those medals. So great job to Idaho Falls. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but let's first hit 6A. Now, none of the teams in East Idaho, Sean, won state, but again, ton of medals and a ton of great performances. Madison girls were at state. Rigby boys were at state, in-state swimming. Let's talk about both Rigby, though. Rigby and Highland, actually. Highland, I think boys were sixth place. But in the men's, fifth place. In the men's 100-yard butterfly from Rigby, first place went to Nathan Hunter, a senior. And do butterfly is 4 laps of super strenuous. Your shoulders are on fire, and you're just trying to go as hard as you can for 4 straight laps. Butterfly is a hard stroke to race, but first place went to Nathan Hunter out of Rigby.
Yeah, and like you said, my mom even commented how the swim team, when it was out at the Ross Park outside for like most of the season, right? They're practicing outside until they turn off the pool, I guess.
Yeah.
But ISU's pool is back now, which is helpful.
True.
But there is limited avenues. The YMCA in Idaho Falls obviously is kind of a mecca, right? And we can see that by the amount of medals that come back to the Idaho Falls area. I don't even know if there's a pool in Rexburg, I guess. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe someone's out there can let us know, or if they have to come swim in Idaho Falls. I really don't know if there is.
Yeah, I know there is one at BYU Idaho, formerly Rick's College, but yeah, I don't know if there's one like in the community. I'm assuming there is, but hey, it shows that there's something out there because Rigby ends up swimming well in the 100-yard butterfly, and then for women, coming back down to Pocatello Highlands, Addison Fenstermaker. We've talked about her for the last few years, Sean. Third place in the 100-yard freestyle and third place in the 200-yard freestyle. Now, 100 and 200, 100, it's all out sprint, 4 laps, 200. 8 laps, so you both have sprinting and endurance in that one. And Addison Fenstermaker goes third in both those. So congrats to her. Our first comment coming from Ryan Skaggs asking if Sean, you're feeling any better today. And Sean, I think if you weren't feeling better, you wouldn't have come on the show. So I'm hoping you're feeling better, man.
I'm feeling a whole lot better after East Idaho goes 2-0 versus Northern Idaho in football.
That's
Ryan,
right.
but thank you for asking.
Even when sick, Sean is available to throw some shade at North Idaho. It's brilliant. All right, let's go to, so congrats to Rigby boys. Did great. Madison girls got to state, and then the Highland boys and girls both swimming really well, especially Addison Fenstermaker from Highland. Let's hit IF, Sean. Both boys and girls took second place. 8 out of the 12 first place medals were brought back to East Idaho. A lot of that thanks to Idaho Falls. And the women's 200-yard medley relay. So that's your breaststroke, backstroke, or backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, and freestyle. And one swimmer swims each of those strokes, and they go two lengths, 2 laps for that. Idaho Falls gets first place. Mahealani Grimes, and we're going to hear her name a few more times. Ann Hunsicker, Abigail Ballsmeyer, will hear her name a few more times, and Stella Briggs, who's only a sophomore. That team of girls gets first place from Idaho Falls. Later on, again, you'll hear some of those names again. Women 200-yard IM, Abigail Ballsmeyer gets first place, again, from Idaho Falls. And then later on, women's 100-yard butterfly, first place goes to Mahealani Grimes, senior from Idaho Falls, gets first place. And then in the backstroke, this girl, she does everything, first place for Grimes as well. So backstroke, butterfly, and the medley relay, Mahealani Grimes, Abigail Ballsmeyer were somewhere in all of those races. Great talent from those girls.
Yeah, just a phenomenal job. And just a phenomenal job from Idaho Falls in general, right? The boys and girls both go second. We will give Northern Idaho credit because Sandpoint wins both. They do the double, right? Boys and girls. I think it's maybe a back-to-back for one of them. I mean, I can't remember, but a good job there. There we go. Ori said it. Ori predicted it. They did a phenomenal job.
They did.
But just speaking of girls from East Idaho, you had Idaho Falls go second, Skyline closely behind them in third, and Century Girls, who won districts for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah.
They take 6. So a really good showing from East Idaho on the girls' side of the pool.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, Sandpoint, take boys and girls. There's a few pools up in Sandpoint. They did a great job. And there's some cool pictures on the IHSAA website of all the teams that won at state and Sandpoint. Yeah, they had a great team out there. And then Ryan says, after you threw shade at North Idaho, I take back my question, Sean. You sound awful here. I was going to send you some watermelon water, green tea DoorDashed to you. And then Ryan says, going back to Sandpoint, back to back for both.
Okay, yeah. Was it a 3-peat for one of them, Ryan? You can. I want to say the boys. Maybe
that sounds right. Well, we'll see what Ryan has to say. But yeah, North Idaho stuff. We don't keep track of it. But yeah, Sandpoint. There must be something in the water up there, dude, because they are swimming and being coached up really well up there in North Idaho. So while we wait on that, if it was a 3-peat. You mentioned Pocatello Century. Let's talk about this. Let's go to the guys' side. The men's 200 and 500-yard freestyles, Sean, they had the same cast of characters, all from Pocatello. Xander Enslinger from Pocatello gets first place in the 500-yard freestyle. And for those who don't know how long 500 is, that's 20 laps. So there and back, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 20. You know, you have so many laps that you have someone who counts for you, which is always kind of interesting, making sure your counter knows how to flip the cards correctly and all that. But it's 20 laps, and it's just endurance. And as you go into high school, it's not just endurance, but it's also you got to keep up a little bit of speed, kind of similar to that long track race, and just back and forth around the track. Same idea, but again, same cast of characters in the 500-yard freestyle, men's 500-yard freestyle, and the 200-yard freestyle. Zandon Enslinger, Caden Irwin, Kean Bennett go first, third, and sixth in the 500. Very similar in the 200 one as well, all from Pokey. So, all those workouts out there at Ross Park must have paid off, those long distance workouts for the Pocatello boys.
Yeah, very, very good job for the boys on that very long race. Also, we had another state champion in the men's 100-yard backstroke. Deacon Major from Century got to wear their hat.
Your guy, man.
Deacon did a phenomenal job. He's only a 10th grader. We talked about him a little bit last year. Backstroke's not easy, Joel. I'm not a swimmer, but I know that's a tough one. But as far as backstroke goes, East Idaho takes first, fourth, and fifth. So some really good competitors there as well.
Yeah, for sure. And then also I thought this was interesting, both in the long distance, in the longest distance that they have at state, the 500-yard freestyle, Pocatello, East Idaho places first. And then in the fastest race, 2 laps, it's like the 100-yard dash, right? As fast as you can, your flip turn's got to be on point. Your dive has got to be on point. You got to take off right when they blow, right when they hit that buzzer, the gun, if you will. Idaho Falls' Ranji Grimes, only a sophomore, dude, gets first place in the 50-yard freestyle. So Idaho Falls showing out in both the sprints and in the long distance.
Yeah, I'm basically the fastest swimmer. It's kind of, it's kind of like running, who's ever runs the hundreds the fastest. It's kind of the same for swimming. That 50-yard freestyle just shows that speed. A lot of things got to go right. So congratulations to him.
Yeah.
And the men did the same, right? For overall, East Idaho did pretty well.
Yep.
As far as teams, Idaho Falls takes second, Pocatello third, Skyline fourth, Century sixth. So a lot of good swimming.
Yeah. And Ryan was able to get us some research, doing work over there in North Idaho.
See, I knew.
Sean might be the East Idaho guy, but he knows things. Yeah, right. Sandpoint girls did pull the 3-peat. So yeah, congrats to Sandpoint, man. That's awesome. Going 3 years in a row, and then the boys going back to back. So Sandpoint definitely the team to beat next year in high school swimming. But congrats to all those swimmers from East Idaho, especially to Idaho Falls girls and boys, and the Pocatello boys for getting third at state. And then finally, Sean, the Century girls were academic state champs for 5A. So congrats to them right there. But for more swimming information, again, East Idaho News' Kalama Harris. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Or Kalama Hines, excuse me, did a great article on state swimming for East Idaho. So please go check that out. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe to this Prepcast, everybody, so and everyone else can find this Prepcast as we talk about swimming, and then we get into football. And then so each and every week when we are dropping this show, usually Monday nights at 8:30. Sometimes we change it up. But don't forget to like and subscribe so when we're dropping it each and every week, Facebook, YouTube, or the X accounts. All right, let's get into a little bit of football. Sean, from this last week, you were at the ICCU Dome. I was at the ICCU Dome. What games stuck out to you for the games that you broadcasted on Friday night?
Well,
of the two.
I only get to pick one.
Yeah, you can talk about both. I just trying to save your voice.
No, it's fine. It was 2 pretty good games. But let's go with Grace versus Prairie, which on paper it looked like it was going to be kind of a dogfight. But I'll be honest, Grace came out and pretty much took over and won pretty much every facet of the game. And Gavin Draper, 5 TDs, 326 yards. But our player of the game was Parker Yost. He had 3 sacks, which are just crucial, and 1 catching TD. But hey, this Grace team was it was really fun to watch. Brandon Walton did a story in the Idaho State Journal about it, and I kind of like Draper said that one of his favorite movies is the 1980 United States Olympic hockey team.
Yeah.
That wasn't supposed to beat the Russians, but they did. In the talk about going up to play Kendrick next week, right? I mean, that will be the the story going forward, right? A Kendrick team that averages like 70 points a game,
right?
Just insane numbers. But I unfortunately the draw came out the way it did. I thought Grace and Kendrick should be in the championship games. Those would be my 2 top teams. But Grace did a phenomenal job against Prairie. I mean, they're going to hand their hands full, but I really like their attitude. Like, if someone's going to beat them, it could be us. Will it happen? I don't know. Hard to bet against the Kendrick Tigers, but I do like Grace's vibe mentality. I like Draper, and then Draper dad as the coach. Good story there. I was messaging Coach Draper, and I'm like, do you have my water bottle from a year ago when we went out there, Joel? Me and you went to the first game of the year against Oakley. And we could see this team kind of turning into what it is now a year ago with Draper. And he said, yeah, I have that water bottle still in the press box. Unfortunately, I never made it down the sideline to get it from him. But my water bottle could be at the ICCU Dome. I don't know. But that water bottle is still alive and well. It's traveled. So shout out if he brought it, as Coach Draper brought it. I couldn't get down to the field. I was on my last leg by the end of that game.
Yeah. Well, thanks for broadcasting that game, Sean, for Idaho Sports on the NFHS network. But yeah, Grace Kendrick. I mean, I hate to say that Kendrick probably going to win that one, but Kendrick has been so dominant. Look, I would love for Grace to beat Kendrick. I'm not going to lie. I bet most people like to see Grace beat Kendrick, who doesn't have a dog in the fight, basically being from Kendrick. So I think it'll be amazing for Grace to beat Kendrick. I don't know if they will, but man, Grace's passing attack and their ability to pass and run and get pressure on the quarterback that we've seen all year long, including from Parker Yost. I think Grace has a shot. I mean, but that's why you play the game. I'm a big college football guy, and all these hypothetical, wins that the SEC claims, and it's just silly. So let's go and play the game, and let's find out. And look, you play the game, Kendrick probably wins, right? 9 out of 10 times. But maybe that one time you get the Russians on the ice, they get overconfident, and now we're comparing the Kendrick Tigers to the Russian Olympic team. But yeah, maybe Grace can get a couple big throws, get a couple chunk plays, and get a win and steal one away. But Kendrick is so good on all facets.
I will say this too.
We'll see.
Grace got Carter Kimball back after 5 weeks.
Right on.
And he had 2 interceptions and a sack himself. So defensively, Grace brings a lot. Gavin Draper also plays defense. It's 8-man football. Everyone plays both ways. But all their big players and getting Carter Kimball back, I think, made a huge difference. And so defensively, I think if there's a team that can make a stand against Kendrick, it would be Grace in this bracket. I don't think there's another team that can. So that's why we play the games, right? 9 out of 10 times you're probably picking Kendrick, but Grace is hoping for that one time.
Yeah, and on Saturday I did see, and this isn't the Gem State game, but that's tomorrow night, which they'll be talking about every game coming up this weekend. But I did see Cami play live against Raft River on Saturday, broadcasted that game with Dallin Fryer. Cami is good. Cami is also like Grace. They like to throw the ball. They're kind of throw first, run second. But then as the game went on, they started running the ball a little bit more behind their quarterback. Loveland, I think, is not maybe not Loveland. Lawson Loveland, he did a great job throwing and running the football. So maybe Kamiai could give him something. Logos, right? Kamiai is in Kendrick's conference, so we'll see. But I think Grace has a good shot as anybody right now to go and upset Kendrick. But I would say Kendrick would be the favorite. But of course, here on East Idaho, we're cheering for Grace all the way. All right, let's go to little 3A football. I was at Ryrie New Plymouth broadcasting that game Thursday night. Sean, dude, Ryrie is not unstoppable. They can be stopped. And it was behind a passing attack from New Plymouth that almost had Ryrie. Literally 3 plays that New Plymouth easily could have had, and they didn't. And they were all throwing plays. And that was the difference in the game. If New Plymouth had been a little bit more tight, a little more disciplined in their throwing game on those 3 plays, and even then, 2 out of those 3 mistakes, they almost overcame them. But that third mistake, wide receiver cuts out, quarterback thinks he's cutting in, and that was the difference for New Plymouth. But New Plymouth almost took Ryrie. So I say that because, Ryrie won that game. Player of the game was Garrett Van Noy. Had 2 rushing touchdowns. Coulter Lewis obviously runs all over the place. Phenomenal runner. But New Plymouth showed that Ryrie can be beaten. Now, I think New Plymouth actually was maybe a better matchup to Ryrie versus Aberdeen. Big Aberdeen fan. Been out there a number of times. Great coaching staff. Love their AD is awesome. They always treat us really well out there when we go out there and do games. But I think, honestly, New Plymouth will probably give Ryrie more fits than Aberdeen will, just because Ryrie is built to stop the run. And Aberdeen is not built to throw it all over Ryrie, which caught Ryrie, I think, by surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be pretty interesting. I think New Plymouth, it was a much better 8th seed than everyone expected.
Yep, 100%.
And I think we should have taken notice when they beat Decla, which I thought was a team that might get some steam moving into the playoffs. But yeah, Ryrie is beatable, and there's tape on it now. I find it very interesting, the Ryrie Aberdeen matchup. Aberdeen is a team you just can't count out right now. Ryrie finally kind of took one on the chin. I think it'll be a great team against 2 teams. I think it's really going to come down to who can make defensive stops. We know both teams can score, run the ball really well, but who can come up with a stop or a turnover, or even maybe in the special teams.
Yeah, I like it. So I honestly don't know, if Aberdeen gets behind the sticks too often, because Ryrie's defense, they like to pin their ears back and get a lot of pressure in the backfield on those running plays on the quarterback. Aberdeen has a lot of misdirection, though. If Aberdeen gets down, they love to control the clock, and they are so good at taking chunks out of quarters, if not entire quarters, sometimes entire halves of just running the football and not scoring until the end of the quarter, end of the half. But if they get behind, they can throw a little bit more than they have in the last few years. They've added that wrinkle to their game a little bit more, in a little more air game. But I'm afraid if Ryrie goes up, 1, maybe 2 scores, I don't know if Aberdeen can come back and stay with Ryrie. But let's play the game. Let's find out how that one goes. Westside beat West J 37-14, no problem. Nampa Christian gets North Fremont. Nampa Christian is a really good team, Sean, and 3A. We won't talk about them too much, but Westside, Nampa Christian. Westside, you don't count out Westside ever. I think
you're starting to sound like me now.
I know, but seriously, like talk about Aberdeen's wing T and misdirection. Westside has that in spades. I think Westside beats Nampa Christian, but Nampa Christian has a head of steam going into this game, man.
Yeah, Nampa Christian has a very good throwing quarterback. I think I'll be at that game this week, and I started to look it up, and I think that'll be the thing. Can Westside control the ball and the clock with the running game, the wing T pirate, hoorah, or can Nampa Christian throw some dimes and make Westside lean off that pressure defense? It could be a very intriguing matchup of kind of a contrast of styles. I think every style is contrast to Westside, really. I don't think anyone ever has the exact same. So it'll be very interesting. I will say, it should be an advantage for Westside to be inside the dome, and I was going to say that for Ryrie too. I noticed being at the dome this weekend, it's much warmer in there than when you're outside. You're going to be practicing all week outside, and it's cold. And then you get in there, and being inside is a little different, because I don't know if they had the heater on or what, but I felt like it was pretty warm in the dome. And a couple other people were talking about that cramps, and we saw a couple players get cramps or like that kind of issue. So having that one game or in the dome, the ICCU dome, I think is an advantage at this point in these late stage semifinals.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And then I found out I failed to mention Aberdeen's Clayson, Max Clayson had a big game. He was actually out the game before that in their opening 3A tournament matchup. He came back for the Priest River game, and he actually balled out, had a couple of touchdowns, almost had 100 yards, almost eclipsed 100 yards, had 99 to be specific. And so they're so excited to have Max Clayson back, or Clausen, who balled out for Aberdeen. So watch for Max Clausen, Lupe Ortiz, of course, Eric Alvarez to have good games against Ryrie. If they're having good games, then I think Aberdeen has a good shot at defeating Ryrie, and looking forward to Westside playing Nampa Christian. And maybe we'll have another 3A finals matchup, Sean, next week.
What do you got?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking, I think most people really want to see Ryrie Westside, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think that's what everyone wants to see. I would not count out Aberdeen, though, to be maybe there at that spot as well.
I like it. And then Sugar Salem took care of Snake River, no problem. American Falls falls to Kimberly 42-0. And I saw that coming. I didn't think that game was going to be close. I think the guys were saying on Gem State Game Day, yeah, that should be the best game. But again, East Idaho guys, but I kind of knew what American Falls was. Good team, better than they have been the last few years. But playing against a Kimberly team that has historically been on top and been very good, frankly. I didn't like American Falls staying close in that game, and sure enough, they got blanked by Kimberly. But American Falls, great season. Again, one of their better seasons in recent memory. Looking forward to what they bring next year. Sugar Salem, like I said, took care of Snake River, no problem, 55-6. In that one, you had some great play from Frank Fillmore, the quarterback, Dre Williams, one of the running backs, and then Kimball Tonks, dude, 2 rushing touchdowns, and he's one of their senior running backs, wide receivers, had a phenomenal game. But now we get Sugar Salem Homedale. I assume Sugar Salem takes care of business, Sean, and we get a rematch of 1 versus 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you'd been kind of hoping for all year, is to see Sugar versus Fruitland. And typically it's Sugar Homedale in the final.
Right.
Like for the last forever years is usually the matchup we're used to seeing. We're getting it a little earlier this year. Sugar firing on all cylinders. Fruitland, I think, is who we thought they are. That game was a little closer, I think, than originally the Buell game. I think at halftime it was close. I remember looking at that one going, oh, Buell kind of stepping up. But yeah, I like Fruitland over Kimberly. I think Sugar will have a good chance to be back in another championship game.
And then let's hit 5A football, Sean. Hopefully you can see that. Make your screen big. But you got Hillcrest defeated Lakeland pretty easily. Really, the wheels came off for Lakeland early in the second half. 35-14. It was Lakeland hung with them. After 1, it was 7-7. But like I said, second quarter, Hillcrest, I think, scores. I think Hillcrest is up by a touchdown. I think just a touchdown going into halftime, maybe 10. I think they may have hit a field goal going into halftime. I don't have the scoring summary next to me. But early on in the second half, Hillcrest scores again, and that was basically it for Lakeland. Lakeland punches one more in, I think, in the fourth quarter. But of course, who else but the quarterback, Tyson Sweetwood? I think he had 4 total touchdowns, or 4 total. I think it was 3 rushing and 1 throwing.
Correct.
A really great game from Tyson Sweetwood. And Lakeland coaches, great coach stuff. Really had wonderful conversations with the head coach and defensive coordinator. I think it was Tim Kiefer, and they both said, they watched Sweetwood run all over them late in the fourth quarter last year, and they had prepared some packages to keep Sweetwood at bay. And still, Hillcrest was able to get wonderful push from the offensive line. And Sweetwood is so shifty. He doesn't look fast, but the dude just doesn't go down. He continually falls forward. He's, like I said, shifty. And with that big offensive line, lead blockers, like fullbacks and running backs blocking for him, he continued to run on Lakeland like he did last year.
Yeah, probably the most underrated offensive line. We've probably have failed to mention how good the Hillcrest offensive line has been all year. Like, it's probably, the best offensive line I've seen live. And in Hillcrest, that's kind of their MO. Second half, they take care of business. I don't know how many times we've seen this year where it's kind of close, and second half Hillcrest kind of blows away their opponents, and they've done it all year. They did it against Twin Falls, who's their next opponent. That game was kind of close, and then they blew them out of the water in the second half. And you have to credit the coaching staff, all the great coaches Moss Holder gets around him, because at halftime they come out and they flex and take care of business. So a really good job by Hillcrest.
Yeah, so I assume Hillcrest beats Twin Falls once again behind that stout offensive line. Also, Coach Mossholder, they installed some heavy run packages, and we saw those throughout that game against Lakeland, and that Lakeland really couldn't stop them. I'm curious if I say that because I'm curious if Hillcrest uses those again against Twin Falls. Hillcrest offensive line is much bigger than Twin Falls offensive line. Like, there's no question there. And so I wonder if Hillcrest will continue to do the same thing. And what feels terrible is when you are on defense, what's coming and you can't stop it. It's one of the worst feelings in sports, right? The Lakers are going down low to Shaq, or Dwayne Wade is going down low to Shaq, and it's coming and you can't stop it. It's a bad feeling, and I think Twin Falls, I'm assuming they know what's coming. They're going to try to do a few things, maybe stack the box. But Sweetwood's also got an arm, and he can hit Mason Davis for a chunk 20-plus yard play. So Hillcrest is firing on all cylinders. Probably will beat Twin Falls, and then we should have a Bishop Kelly Hillcrest championship. Hate to already throw Skyline.
Wow.
Hate to already throw Skyline away, but Skyline sneaks by Sandpoint. Sandpoint is
it was an interesting game, Joel.
Yeah. So tell us about that 43-35 final score, man.
Well, there was a period in the third quarter where there was 6 penalties in a row that took forever, and then it became a fumble. There's so many fumbles. I think there was
fumbleitis, dude.
5 fumbles. For the most part, the Skyline was in control of this game. They went to a 5 receiver set, put a man in motion, and once they kind of went to that, Sandpoint's defense didn't have an answer. I was very impressed with Sandpoint, but I was more impressed with Skyline's ability to kind of change what they did and go to this 5 receiver set, put someone in motion. Either John Genie III would throw it, run it, or hand it off. That play, that offensive set was pretty much unstoppable. It accounted for 3 Crockett touchdowns, Zion Crockett 2 rushing, 1 he caught 1 as well.
Yeah.
If Skyline doesn't turn the ball over, the score is not very close.
Okay.
But they turned the ball over a couple times, and Sandpoint capitalized on it, and sometimes didn't capitalize on it. It was an odd game. It had the first half had a good flow to it, and then the second half was just littered with penalties and turnovers. And
and I think Bishop Kelly is much more disciplined. I think their defense and their offense are better than Sandpoint's, and better than Bonneville's. And so that's why I think Bishop Kelly defeats Skyline by 2 scores. Again, I love Skyline's love their coaching staff, and they're always big supporters of Idaho sports. So this isn't personal. This is just reality. And I hope Skyline comes out and proves me wrong. I just think, we've seen maybe less discipline from the Skyline team than we have in years past. And their offense has struggled, although they still did score 43 points. But Sean, we saw Pokey score almost that many points against Sandpoint, and Pokey had a disappointing season this year. So that's why I think Bishop Kelly probably beats Skyline easily, and we have a 1-2 Hillcrest Bishop Kelly in the final. But hey, let's play the game and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I don't feel as confident as you as picking Bishop Kelly over Skyline.
Hope I'm wrong.
Skyline's defense has the ability to keep them in games. And they did a couple things where they brought in Zion Crockett to be a DB and some different packages defensively that were pretty good. So I kind of like Skyline's defense versus Bishop Kelly. It'll be whether or not Bishop Kelly can hit big plays. Actually, I think it becomes whoever hits big plays. Skyline's kind of big on big plays as well.
Yeah.
If Skyline can hit some big plays, I think they have a chance. And if Bishop Kelly hits the big plays, I think that puts them in the driver's seat. I think it comes down to who has more big plays in that game.
That game is going to be played this Friday, 11/14 at 7 o'clock. That's going to be at Bishop Kelly, and then Hillcrest Twin Falls is going to be at Hillcrest for that. Let's finally hit 6A. You got Rigby, Rocky Mountain. Rigby defeats Mountain View 42-28 pretty easily. And then Madison, sorry, you can't see that, but Madison really got manhandled by Coeur d'Alene. Thought that game would be closer. I thought Madison's line would do wonders for their offense against Coeur d'Alene. But, our good friend Ryan Skaggs said Madison came out kind of flat and never got going. And he was disappointed. He's North Idaho guy, but when we're doing these broadcasts, we be as neutral as possible. And frankly, we want a good game, Sean. And it was not a good game. Madison couldn't get going. Their offensive line was disappointing, and Coeur d'Alene was able to run and throw all over the Madison Bobcats. So Coeur d'Alene goes on. They'll play Timberline, but Rigby defeats Mountain View easily, and they'll play Rocky. And big game, dude, at Rigby this Friday. Rocky Mountain comes out to East Idaho. Really looking forward to seeing these two powerhouses go at it.
Yeah, I would agree with you on most of those points. I found that Eagle Rocky Mountain game a hard game to pick and a low scoring affair, to say the least, 13-6. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting. And in Coeur d'Alene, I think it's the first time you're seeing a full healthy Coeur d'Alene team, right? What they can do. They got a bye week at the end. I think all the stars align for Coeur d'Alene to be in a healthy situation. So I find Coeur d'Alene Timberline a very interesting semifinal. I do think Rigby will take care of Rocky Mountain. I like that game being at Rigby.
Yeah,
I think that's a huge advantage. I feel like Rigby's always had to go somewhere for these games. Like they've always had to go up somewhere. I feel like they haven't gotten a semifinal very often at home. And I like that they're playing it at home at their stadium and not in the dome or anything. I like that a lot. Same with Hillcrest. I like how Hillcrest is choosing to play at Westmark Stadium. I think that's a big advantage. I like that. So I do like Rigby. And for Timberline and Coeur d'Alene, I don't know. Gem State guys can figure that one out.
Yeah, exactly. We won't go into that one. We'll let them take care of that one tomorrow night. But want to say congrats to Madison for having another good season, dude. A different coach from last year comes in, Coach Pancari, and does a really good job with this team. And looking forward to what they can do next year, and really proud of what Madison did. But yeah, I guess came out flat against CDA. And are heading home for the year, getting ready for basketball. But looking forward to more battles between Madison and Rigby. It's been fun to watch those teams go at it the last few years, especially because Madison for a long time was the better team, and just recently in the last 4, 5, 6 years, Rigby has now started. They've now overcome Madison and beat them 3, 4, 5 years in a row, and so. I like, though, that there is competition even though Rigby has won 3, 4, 5 against
don't
Madison.
Forget Highland.
Well, no, for sure, but just up there in District 6, right, is what I'm talking about. And watching that rivalry really blossom, because a rivalry is only a rivalry when both teams are able to go back and forth to win. And while Rigby has won more recently, those games have been close. So it's good to see Madison kind of keeping up with Rigby in a way. Maybe not in wins and losses in the series, but in terms of talent and ability, because again, they almost got Rigby about a month ago. But of course, there's still Highland, and Highland will definitely be back next year. Mm-hmm. They were kind of starting to hit their stride a little bit, and they ran into a buzzsaw in the first round of the playoffs, but Highland will definitely be back. So looking forward to seeing what Highland can do, but wanted to say congrats to them. Sean, we're all done here. I feel like you got stronger. You and the Highland offensive line, man, got stronger as the game went, as this podcast went on, dude.
Playoff football, and the Bears won. Let's go.
Dude, what a great season. Is my boys, is Williams, is he in his second season or third season?
Second.
Okay. Yeah, we were talking about Caleb Williams and the Bears. Not my boys. It was a coworker and I, and he's like, Caleb Williams, he's second or third year, and I think he's second year, and he's got that sophomore spirit, right? He's got a little experience, and he already has the talent, developed a little bit more from his rookie year. Caleb Williams, man, the Bears. It's funny. I have so many more Bears friends that are Bear fans that are friends that I realized here in East Idaho. It's a lot of fun, including you.
Yeah, I mean, it's Caleb Williams is 2 head coaches and 3 offensive coordinators in the span of 2 years. And you kind of have to give him credit for doing that. I don't think that's an easy task for anyone. You look at a lot of these places, they've got who they've got, and they've got the playbook and hadn't had that much change, So Ben Johnson doing a good job.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Sean, I forgot to show this picture. Let's pull it up right now. This is the Idaho Falls Tigers. I pulled this. I don't remember where I got this, either IHSA or East Idaho News. But yeah. Did you like those orange parkas, those orange swim parkas?
Those are Snuggies, Joel.
Oh, Snuggies. Sorry.
Yeah, orange Snuggies. They're tennis team Adam too.
Yeah. Those are awesome. And I love that the second place trophy almost looks orange in that picture, man. So anyway, forgot to show that picture. Idaho Falls girls, second place, a bunch of medals, 10 plus, did a phenomenal job. That's the East Idaho Prepcast, folks, for this week. Sean, where are you going to be this week? I know you already teased it out, but one more time, where are you going to be this weekend?
I think I'm going to be at whatever's at the Dome Friday.
On Friday, yeah.
So the first game, I mean, I think we'll have pretty much every semifinal covered. So the first game, well, now I don't know. Now it looks different. So, yeah, now it's different than what I was told earlier today. So who knows where I'll be?
Okay, all right. Last I knew, I was going to be doing Ryrie. Was it Ryrie Aberdeen? Is that what it was? Ryrie Aberdeen was.
You're doing that one with Paul Kingsbury. Earlier today, I was on the horn with Brandon Bainey, and I was doing games at the Dome, but now it looks like I'm going to Hillcrest with Lance Taylor. So
okay, gotcha. That may have been my fault because I'm out this weekend, and so you can. I owe you one for this one, dude. But yeah, we'll be covering most, if not all, the games on IdahoSports.com through the NFHS network with that partnerip. We'll be covering those.
Now those are being erased, so someone's probably watching
as we talk. Like, whoa, don't publish that.
Well, I'm just trying to say where we're going to be at. You can fire me. I might not be able to talk.
I know. By the time Friday comes, let's end the show, Sean, so you can go drink some tea from Ryan Skaggs.
If this is the last time me and Joel do the podcast, thanks everyone.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you. For Sean Kane, I'm Joel Richardson saying be excellent to each other. Have a great week. Look and enjoy all the games this weekend. We'll be bringing them to you on Game Streams Production on IdahoSports.com. Have a great night, everyone. See ya.